Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the October 1st, 2025 meeting of the Conservation Commission. The Wareham Conservation Commission will hold a meeting under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, the Town of Wareham Wetland Protections Bylaw Division 6, and any other applicable laws. All hearings of the Wareham Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Wareham Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw Division 6. Although a single decision of the Commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All matters listed may involve a decision and possible vote. Roll call, please. Jessica.
Jessica Parr.
Scott Sobey.
Paula Jean O'Neill.
Sandy Slavin.
Michael Mercier.
Kwame Bardi.
Faith Berry, Associate Member.
And we welcome Faith. This is her first meeting, and thank you very, Faith, for showing up and helping us and stepping up. And before we start, we've been asked to approve this set of a CR for a piece of property. I'll let Christine explain it in a minute, but before we get started. Okay, you go down Onset Ave before Point Independence Bridge, and there's two very big trees that are dead. Well, guess what? There's another two very big trees that are dying out there. Somebody is killing our trees on Onset Bluff. Please, if you see something, say something. We can't continue to lose that type of trees just because someone who wants a view. Thank you. Christine, you have something you want us to take that's not on the agenda? We'll cover it under 48 hours. It's up to you now.
Yes, so there is a conservation restriction at a property owned by the Wareham Land Trust that you guys had seen, 0 Route 25, which just needed to be signed. That's kind of about it.
We've approved it,
Yeah,
so we're just here to sign it.
yes.
So no vote is needed or anything like that. So just heads up, we're going to be signing that document at the end of it. So that's why we're here.
Yes.
But we have voted on it.
Yes.
Anybody realize what I'm talking about for the piece of land? Anybody questions what we're talking about? Okay, good. We'll go with, I declare we have a quorum, and please, Michael, the first hearing.
All right. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, General Division 6, a public hearing will be held in Rooms 520, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass., on Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, at 6 p.m. And on the request for determination of applicability for Yarrow and Felicia DiBiase, 12 Churchill Road, Winchester, Massachusetts, 01890. A request to clear a 12 by 40 square foot vegetation area, grade and compact with gravel for storage of boat. Closest point of area to be cleared to coastal bank is more than 50 feet. Map 35, Lot 2, 95 Edgewater Drive in Wareham, Mass. And notice to open hearing.
There's a motion to open the hearing.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And the dimension is 20 by 40.
That's a 20 by 40.
I thought I heard 12.
Yeah, my apologies.
No, but, okay. And who's here for this project?
For the record, Jim Marsh. I represent Giro and Felicia DiBiase, owners of the property.
Okay, talk to us about the project, please.
Sure. This is a vegetated property that's at 95. It's undeveloped at this point. My clients are looking to clear an area up against the street, 20 feet wide, 40 feet wide, 20 feet deep, to store their trailer and power boat. They'll use hand equipment to cut most of the vegetation. Likely need the use of a small bobcat, which they'll bring in off the roadway to grade and spread any gravel to level out the area.
All right, questions? I'll start with Jessica.
No questions.
Scott?
I'm wondering about the determination of a coastal bank. Here, I see you have marked coastal dune on the plans, but the elevation markings look to me like they continue to increase until you get onto the roadway itself. And it's actually steep right adjacent to the roadway. So why was that whole thing not determined as a coastal bank? That whole lot?
Sorry, I'm not sure I understand. I have the plan in front of me, and I'm,
Yeah, so you'll see you have a line for 30-foot no activity zone.
right.
And to the left of that, there's an 8-foot elevation mark. And then to the left of that, there's a 9-foot elevation mark.
Yep.
And then to the left of that, there's a 10-foot elevation mark.
Yep.
So the elevations keep increasing until you get onto the roadway itself. So I'm wondering why the whole lot was not indicated to be a coastal bank.
I'm relying on GAF Engineering's delineation of the coastal bank that's shown on this plan. They're the ones who conducted the work out there and plotted the top of the coastal bank on this plan.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that the elevation markings are correct. But I'd have to look again at the exact definition of coastal bank, but I believe it's something like, coastal bank ends when the land essentially levels off. So it doesn't look like the land levels off until on top of the roadway itself.
Yeah, look, they went out there, they made that determination, and they placed it on this plot plan.
Well, maybe we ought to be talking to someone from GAF then, about why the determination was made that the coastal bank is way off to the right.
Well, it cuts across the property at the,
Yeah, I can see it,
yeah.
yeah. So here's the reason I'm asking. If the entire lot is a coastal bank, then the entire lot is resource area. So if the coastal bank ends at the top of the road, then 30-foot would be measured, 30-foot no activity zone would be measured from there, not from where they have it marked on this map.
Right. So, like I said, GAF has made the determination based on their own site visit that the bank and characteristics of a bank, they've determined that that's the location for where that coastal bank is. If they thought it was closer to the roadway or at the roadway itself, based on the contours, they would have put it there.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why they put it there instead of by the roadway. But you're not prepared to answer the question then?
Look, they're an expert. They were hired to go out there. They plotted it where they plotted it because they've done that type of work before. They're able to identify that type of resource area where it exists in the field, and that's where they plot it.
Yeah, I get it.
Look, if, we're relying on them, they're the ones who put it where they put it.
And I'm asking why.
GF Engineering has been in front of you countless times.
Yes, I know.
You've approved their work. Here's another instance where they've been hired to, place these resources in the field. So we're aware of where they are so that we can come to you and ask for permission to do certain activities out in this area.
Right, and I would say that I'm not an engineer.
I'm not either.
Okay. But I would like I would like an explanation for why what appears to me as a coastal bank running all the way up to the road, why the engineering firm didn't declare the whole thing as a coastal bank.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Paula Jean?
To continue that somewhat, I looked at the plans before I went there and saw the line that said Coastal Bank. And when I got there, I recognized it from the road. It's relatively steep all the way down. And I was thinking, if they're going to put gravel there in a 20 by 40 foot area, what's going to keep that from just every rainstorm washing down until you'd have to keep replacing gravel? The entire lot would be covered with gravel. It looked like a coastal bank to me as well, into the road because of the elevations changing. Have you seen that yourself? I'm sure you have.
Well, I've seen the area. I know it's quite vegetated. I think, the location of where they intend to, or want to put the grading, it'll be contained within the area that's vegetated. I think that will, in itself, will hold back any sort of erosion from the area that's going to be used for the trailer and the.
You mean you think like the vegetation in there and the predominantly bittersweet, I think, up in the trees, that's going to hold the gravel and prevent it from going all the way down the bank eventually to the water?
I think the gravel will be pretty compacted, so I don't expect that will move. I don't see any wave action up there that's going to.
Not wave action, but just if you have a steep area and you put gravel and compact it there, and time goes by and it rains, doesn't it gradually go downhill like everything else goes downhill?
I mean, if there's some need that we need to put some sort of brace, we could do that. Yeah.
Well, I wondered when I saw that and I looked at the plans again, I thought they didn't ask to have any sort of a small retaining wall or anything of that sort.
I think at this point, we were just trying to do something and have as less impactful activity as possible.
Just simple,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, those were my concerns and questions. Thank you.
Michael?
No comments, thank you, ma'am.
Kwame?
I was just wondering about the stabilization, but I think that's more of an engineering aspect. But no other questions. Thank you.
Faith, any question?
Yes, I went to the site too, and it was very steep, and my thought was even putting gravel on it, it'd be very difficult, as steep as it was from the road, to have it be flat enough for somebody to pull a trailer and keep it. They'd have to have it like this. So my question is, are they going to grade it and flatten that, or bring in fill dirt too in that area?
They're going to try to level it to a point where and if that requires some fill, so that it's level, so that the trailer and the boat are not pitched when it's parked there.
Yeah, because it looked to me like it was all coastal bank all the way up to the road too, so that was my thought.
Okay, Christine, what's the setback from a coastal bank?
It's the 100-foot buffer zone.
Now, good questions. Definition of the location of the coastal bank, where it is, or should it be higher? How are you going to contain the gravel that will be used to be put on the site? And your grading, will you be removing material to make it level with the downslope of the hill, or will you be bringing things in to raise it? I don't understand how you're going to make it level. You said grading with that slope.
So if there's material on site that we can use to use towards the leveling or grading, we'll use it. But if there's a need for additional fill material to come in or gravel to come in to make that level, then that's what they plan to do.
Okay, now, they're only going to clear the 20 by 40.
Correct.
No other vegetation will be removed. All of that invasive and everything else, that thick brush will stay there.
Right.
And only the 20 by 40. Now, I would like to have a confirmation of the real location of the coastal bank. I think we want to know if you're going to grade, I want to know exactly what's going to be graded and how much fill must be put in order to make that slot level enough for the boat. And how will you contain the gravel that will be placed under the boat? Is that the questions I'm hearing from everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Christine, any comments?
So the only comment that I would have is if you are trying to figure out where the coastal bank starts, you're going to need a professional wetland scientist to delineate it.
All right? What would you like? Scotty, you brought it up first. What would you like?
I did, and we've just looked at the definition for coastal bank. It's basically the first major break in the slope. So if the engineers were declaring that the first major break is at the 4 foot above the 4 foot elevation level, then they, obviously they're right. But that's, there's a break at the 4 foot level, but it's only a small part of the lot, and the rest of it is much steeper than that. So I would like to have some clarification about how they determined that would be the first clear break in the slope, rather than at the 11-foot level, 11 or 12-foot level.
Is that something you think, ask GA if they could do that themselves, or do we have to ask for a professional to come in? But that whole slope is vegetated, correct?
Yes.
I did not walk down the slope because there was no way to walk down the slope with the thickness of that.
It is thick. It is thick. Would a letter be sufficient from GAF Engineering explaining how they,
Well, the rationale.
Location of it?
The rationale for the break at the 4 foot elevation level rather than at the 11 or 12-foot level.
okay,
And then we can take that up in our discussion as to whether we agree with that or not.
Okay, so we're looking at definition of the coastal bank and a confirmation from GAF that it's at the 11-foot or 4-foot site. How are they going to contain the gravel, and how are they going to grade the site, and how much soil material do they have to bring in? I think those are the 3 points. And did I miss any?
Oh.
Anybody in the audience or online to comment on this project? I'm seeing none. Our next meeting is the 15th of October. Will that give you time?
yes, ample.
Okay, Jim. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Wait.
Oh.
Someone's going to have to make a motion to continue
Move to
until,
continue to October 15th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. We're continued. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Have a great night.
Right. Next one, please.
All right. Do you need? All right. On the request for determination of applicability for Scribbles Learning Center LLC, 873 Main Street, Acushnet, Mass. 02743. Construction of a play yard and miscellaneous landscaping for a daycare center, map 17, 11001, 396 Onset Avenue, Wareham, Mass. And motion to open hearing.
I have that motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained, 600.
Madam Chair, really quick, I just want to make a note that one of the, one person that was in a butter, Rodney Fielding, who's a Greenberry Bob owner across the street, I do have a personal contact with. I just want to make note before we go into the hearing that he and I have not had contact for a few weeks now, so he and I have not chatted about this project.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Who's here to represent this project?
Good evening, Bill Lockwood, Lockwood Architects, and with me is Melissa Cordero, the owner of Scribbles Learning Center, LLC.
Melissa, can you spell your last name for me?
Yes, Cordera, Cordeira.
Okay, Bill, you're up.
Okay, I suspect most people are familiar with the property, the former Citizens Credit Union, previous to that, the Mayflower Bank, which recently vacated, was sold, and Melissa is proposing to open it as a daycare center. So the minimal renovations to the building to make it usable for that purpose include a couple of doors being cut into the existing building. The existing site, we are in site plan review with the planning board and hoping to escape that with minimal impact. We have sufficient parking, so We will be probably planting a few shrubs in places to be determined. The principal thing that we will be doing is creating a play yard in the back, which is a requirement by state law for the type of facility, and that will be fenced in, as well as a fenced area for trash receptacles, and that will be an opaque fence. We'll also be installing some bollards to protect the fenced area from cut-through traffic, which currently,
Yeah, to avoid the corner.
Drives me
yeah,
crazy.
yes,
Drives me crazy.
you may have done that yourself.
Maybe.
Not anymore. No.
But we intend to discourage such activity. So that'll be the principal activity on the site.
All right. We'll go
And
around.
we're here because the flood zone, the AE14 flood zone laps on the edge of the site. The building itself is above the floodplain.
So the work you're doing is really outside the floodplain?
Yes, kind of right along the floodplain line in the area of the flagpole is where we expect we might have to plant a couple shrubs.
Okay. Jessica?
No questions.
Scott?
No questions.
Thanks.
Paula Jean?
I just was wondering, I drive by that all the time and used to use that bank, so it's nice to see something's gonna happen. I thought your clientele doesn't drive yet, so the traffic part is gonna be when parents drop them off and pick
Right.
them up again. There's quite a bit of parking, and I was hoping that you will say yes when I ask if you're going to possibly remove any of that asphalt and put in something pervious and nice that, especially for the kids could run around in, or if that play area is gonna be, that's where the drive-up was.
Yeah.
That's just gonna be the hot top, that's gonna be?
No,
or
that's
is it
gonna be,
It's gonna be removed?
Play surface is going to be
By the
put in there.
state of
Oh, okay, one of
Massachusetts,
those
to be
synthetic-
licensed, you need to have specific.
Ah,
There's
I'm
fall
sure.
zones off playgrounds,
course.
there's,
Of course,
it's a
yeah.
whole other. But yeah, there'll be like a synthetic play yard, and then part of it will be asphalt for like tricycles and ride-ons.
I see, but no plans to get rid of some of that parking area?
No, I need
bad.
20, almost 20 spots, because by the bylaws in Wareham, 25% of the students need parking spots, plus 10 spots for my staff.
Oh, they're driving young these days.
Hey,
Wow.
listen, I know, they're driving now.
There, thank you
So
very
that's,
much.
thank you.
Michael?
It was just tough to read the graphic on my computer here. I just had to really blow it up. But I just got like one question here. So
Yes.
on the stakes on the property. What's that? Oh, as I was saying, it was just really difficult for me to actually see the map on when I actually
Would you like to
downloaded
see the
it.
paper?
Yeah, if you don't mind, that's fine. But on the stakes on the property, there were, yeah, there was like a triangular shape of stakes in the back.
That's
Are
where
they
the
gonna go beyond that into the,
You would have seen a stake over here.
Correct,
a stake
and there
up
was-
there, and over
Yeah.
here, and back over here.
cor- are they gonna go beyond that into those shrubs back there? Are they just
No,
gonna,
no.
so they're gonna be,
Pretty much the fence will be
Closer-
along
closer to where the
curb
back
li-
is.
Along the curb line.
okay, so it's gonna stay closer to the bank then, in there then?
Correct.
All right. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I wanted to know that, thank you.
Kwame?
No questions, thank you.
Faith?
I just had one question. I drove up there and it's kind of steep. So when you're doing your construction, are you going to use something to prevent material from eroding down into the street? Because I did see some
The only
standing
steep
water.
part is in the back, and we're not intending to do anything there.
Okay,
Put up a fence in the
Okay.
back.
And that'll be on the flat area.
so there'll be nothing done in the front there where it's steep going into the street there,
Steep, I don't,
where it faces Onset Avenue.
where it faces Onset Avenue. May I?
Yes, uh-huh.
While you're doing that, are you going to be involved with the petting zoo with your neighbors?
The petting zoo?
This is the back.
Tell me
right?
more. They're gone.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
I
gone.
guess I didn't know that they had found another home. I was
What was it, a
thinking,
sanctuary? What was it? Was it a sanctuary of some sort?
Like right here, the front of the bank is
My
pretty
daughter
steep,
volunteers
going down
at
here
a
to Onset
sanctuary for
Avenue.
animals that are disabled, so they'll be coming in, but they're in Dartmouth.
But this area
but-
here is very
because
steep.
on the other side
I
of
mean,
the
I
fence
drove
is the
in
top of the
here.
hill was where
Yeah.
they had the, right? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay,
Little
that would've been
donkeys or horses or
perfect.
something.
because this is the back
would've been
where the
so
drive-through
perfect.
was.
Where
And I
did they
came from
go?
Great Neck up,
So you would come in here. We have only, one contour here, and that's the same contour.
because right here is where the standing water was. So I just wanted to, it's just a question if you were going to put anything in place to prevent some erosion so it wouldn't go into the street. That's all.
There's a curbing there which would stop it, and there are 4 catch basins on site.
Okay.
All set? Christine, any comments?
No, my only comment was also about whether or not you were going to be using any erosion control.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the 2 BVWs on either side, so. The bordering vegetated wetlands that are on the other sides,
Oh,
across the street, yeah.
BMWs.
BVW.
With the
Yeah,
interior.
we can certainly put down a noodle when we install the bollards.
A wattle,
What?
some straw, like a straw wattle or,
Well, whatever,
yeah.
I would think a wattle would be sufficient
Yeah.
as opposed to hay bales.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments
No
on the
problem
board for
doing
this
that.
for this project? Anybody online or in the audience that would like to speak to this project? Christine, your comments? Nothing, other than we'll do something with the erosion control.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right,
Motion to close the hearing.
Second?
thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. 600, the hearing's closed. Christine, your recommendation?
-3, -6, with erosion controls just around the limit of the construction work.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. 600, we're done. Get your paperwork before you start anything. Thank you.
Thank you
so
much.
much.
Happy times.
Yes.
And I'm sorry those little animals are gone. All right, next, please.
On the request for determination of applicability for Christine Sullivan, 54 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, replacement of a deck in the same footprint, map 46, A1, lot 17, 56 Pinehurst Drive, Wareham, Mass. And motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion.
Second.
And I heard a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. The hearing is opening. Anybody here representing this project? Okay, please let them in. Evening. We're waiting for the applicant to join us online.
Good evening, everyone. This is Christine Sullivan from Community Opportunities Group, and we administer the Community Development Block grants for the town of Wareham. This project is falling under a housing rehabilitation program. And also with me tonight is Wayne Dara, the president of Community Opportunities Group.
Okay, please talk to us about this project.
So this project includes a deck that during our program, we're required to do an environmental review, and we found that it was close to wetlands and wanted to seek your consultation on the project. So we're just looking, it's a deck that's going to be replaced like kind, it's a failing deck. There's no bigger footprint, it's going to stay within the same footprint. And we just want to make sure it meets all the conservation requirements and that it can be rebuilt as is with no further action needed.
Okay. Questions? Jessica?
No questions.
Scott?
No questions.
Paula Jean?
No questions. Thank you.
Michael?
This seems to be a lot bigger project than just a deck, though. Am I wrong here? Because it's talking about things like, let's see, a deck going inside, talking about remodeling a bathroom, putting up I'm sorry, things like smoke detectors and paint.
That's
and things
inside
else.
the building. We're only interested outside.
I know, I was just curious. That's all.
You're
Also-
rehabbing the building, correct?
Correct. The scope of the work is to address any shortfalls in meeting current code. That's why we're doing lead paint abatement, installing new smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. But you're correct, the only work on the ground outside of the house is the deck. There will be some rotten fascia that will be replaced and then covered with coil stock. But again, that's up on the house, that's not on the ground.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Faith,
No questions.
Christine, any comments?
No comments.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the site cleaned up. Anybody online or in the audience that'd like to talk with this project? I'm hearing none, seeing none.
Move to close the hearing?
I have a motion to close the hearing, and I heard a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. The hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation.
-2, -6.
Second?
I have that motion, and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. It's done. It's approved. See Christine for your documentation before you start anything, and thank you for taking care of the structure. It helps the neighborhood.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
thank you. Next one, please.
Thank you very much.
Other requests for determination of applicability for 40 Great Neck Development LLC, 198 Crane Neck South, Taunton, Mass. 02780. All right, just to make note, no work is proposed at this time. The applicant is requesting a determination to confirm that the unnamed stream at 40 and 48R Great Neck Road is intermittent and not perennial as shown on the most recent USGS map, map 17, lots 1033F and 1033C, and 40, 48 Great Neck Road, Wareham, Mass. And motion to open the hearing.
I have a motion,
Second.
and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Wait a minute, you can't do the motion in second. Somebody else needs to second.
I'll second that one.
Thank you.
Second.
I'm going to recuse myself.
All right, for the record, Jessica left at 6:33. Thank you. All right, who's here representing this project?
Being Brian Grady, GAF Engineering, here for 40 Great Neck. Excuse me. I've got some handouts for you.
Yes, please.
Excuse me.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So those are just a paper copy of what's online, but what's on, excuse me, what's online had to be reduced because of the size of the PDF, and it lost some definition. Pardon me, allergies.
I have cough drop.
I come prepared. So I think most of you were here last year when we made this same submittal. I think Scott and Faith were not here, though. So we're looking to get this stream reclassified as an intermittent stream. And we made application last year, just about a year ago. The commission made a positive determination that it was a river, a stream. We appealed that to DEP. DEP issued a superseding determination upholding your decision, and so we're revisiting that. And in revisiting that, in hindsight, I can see, well, I can't say that you arrived at the wrong decision back then, given the information we provided. So we took DEP's superseding determination, and this time around trying to provide the information that was lacking the first time around so that we can make a determination that the stream is intermittent. So DEP's determination and your determination was that the stream was dry because it was significantly affected by drawdown. And the drawdown being the up gradient cranberry bog activities. So this time around, I've provided detailed information, I think, relative or in support of that determination. So there's a two-pronged test in determining if a river is not a river. The first test is you have to observe it being dry for 4 days over a 12-month period. So I made observations, direct observations over 29 days of no flow, actually stream being totally dry over 29 days. And if you interpolate the days I wasn't there, you know, I wasn't there on a Sunday, but it was dry on Saturday, dry on Monday. Make the not so big leap that it was dry in between. It was dry for 40 days during a non-drought period. So I think we've met that test. So we're at the test where you and DEP had issue last year that the agricultural activities are a significant drawdown on the stream. So what I did to try to provide you the information you need is I spoke with the bog operator, Lucian Gorton. There's an affidavit from him in your package. And he was kind enough to, when he was doing an irrigation event, well, let me back up a little bit. One of the first things I did is you'll see a picture in there of what I'm calling a staff gauge. I took a wooden bean pole and I set that in Pope's Pond, which is the irrigation reservoir for the cranberry bog. There's 6 acres of cranberry bog. So I set that in Pope's Pond, and the measurements are in tenths of a foot. And I have the dates, the specific date. I set that, it was at a 8.0 mark on the staff gauge. So I spoke with Lucian, and he was good enough to provide me with pictures, because his irrigation events, they're 1 hour events, and they typically, he does them in the evening. You know, you don't want to do them in the middle of the day. He does them in the evening, 6:30 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9:30, kind of that window. So I'm not around then to be able to take those pictures. So he took a picture of the staff gauge at the start of the irrigation event and at the end of the irrigation event, which gave me a measurement of what the drop in Pope's Pond was during that irrigation event. And what I found was typically the pond would drop 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch during that 1 hour irrigation event. So whether that's significant or not to be determined. But I think this is what tells the story. I don't know, you should all have a copy of this chart here. So the way I've set this up is the columns at the top are dates and times of observations that were made. Coming down the left side is the elevations that were read on the staff gauge. And I have a legend there, so those little boxes, the red filled box, that's a date where there was an irrigation event that occurred. The blue box is days that there was precipitation, a rainfall event. And the black box is a day when there was nothing. There was no rain, there was no irrigation. So what I'm seeing in this is during a precipitation event, you'll see, again, that half-inch to three-quarter-inch drop. But on days where there are no irrigation or a withdrawal, that pond continues to drop in elevation. I think the period, if you look from June 25th to July 3rd, that's, I believe, an 8-day period. So over that 8-day period, there were no withdrawals, no irrigation events. That pond continued to drop. So what that tells me is, I get a couple of things out of that. So Pope's Pond is the headwater of this stream. There's no upgradient inputs into Pope's Pond. So Pope's Pond is the headwater. Pope's Pond is a groundwater pond because there are no upgradient streams providing a perennial input into Pope's Pond. So Pope's Pond is a groundwater pond. So what we're seeing here is on the days that there's no precipitation or irrigation, the pond's continuing to drop. And it continues to drop because it's a mirror to the water table. And we're into June, July. The water table drops during the summer months, as we all know. So the pond elevation is dropping in response to a drop in the water table and/or some minor effects from evaporation. So then July 4th or 3rd, there was a little bit of rain. You see the pond rose. And again, another rain event on July 7th. And that was a fairly significant rain, if I remember. And the pond continues to rise for a period of days. So what happened there is there's 6 acres of bogs upgrading of Pope's Pond. So that precipitation is captured by that 6-acre bowl, and it released that rainwater over a period of days, slowly. So, I would go by there every morning on my way into work and take a look at it. The bog has a typical flume outlet structure that goes into Pope's Pond. So after that rain event, I observed water flowing out of the bogs across the flume into Pope's Pond. And the water was maybe a couple inches deep over the flume. But as the days went on, the water was maybe only flowing an inch depth over the flume, and then a half inch, and then a trickle, and then eventually stopped. So the bogs act like a reservoir and release the water slowly. So once that effect was gone, water being released from the cranberry bogs, Pope's Pond began to drop again because it's subject to the groundwater. There are no upgradient perennial inputs into Pope's Pond. Pope's Pond is the headwater. So it's going to respond as a mirror to the groundwater, and Pope's Pond will drop as the groundwater drops. So I think this table tells the story, and that we're trying to demonstrate that the agricultural activities are not a significant withdrawal causing this stream not to flow. The stream's not flowing because the upgradient pond, groundwater pond, drops below a certain level where it no longer flows across Great Neck Road into this stream. One of the pictures you'll see in here a couple of things. That first set of pictures on the page 3, the July 3rd on the bottom left there, that's a picture of the stream dry after that 8 days where there was no rain and no withdrawals from the pond. Another one I'll just point out is that July 12th photograph on the next page, I believe, the top left. So Pope's Pond was very high because of the precipitation events, and water actually did start to flow out of it through the pipe under Great Neck Road. and it did come into our stream, but it only flowed for about 30 feet beyond that pipe end, and then just infiltrated into the ground. So what that tells me is that this stream is called a losing stream. There are gaining streams and there are losing streams. So a gaining stream means the ditch is below the groundwater. So groundwater will seep into the stream, into the ditch. Here, that stream is above the water table. So the water that's entering from Pope's Pond due to that precipitation event comes into the ditch, but then it just infiltrates into the sandy bottom. That's another fine distinction. So, and then there's a few photographs at the very end, 1,200 feet or so into the woods, where this stream meets another stream going from north to south. So I took photographs at the very end to demonstrate that the entire length of this stream was dry. Christine was nice enough to meet me out there, and we did walk all the way to the very end through some thick woods, and she did observe that. So I think I've provided the information that DEP and you were looking for. DEP's comment in the superseding determination was they didn't have specific dates and times of the photographs that I originally submitted. So I have a photograph of the stream being dry, but I couldn't relate that to an irrigation event. So that was my understanding of DEP's concern with their superseding determination, upholding your positive determination on the stream. So I have provided dated photographs, observations of the pond, the stream, in relation to the 6 irrigation events that occurred. And I like to think this chart clearly demonstrates that on days without any withdrawals, without any irrigation, that pond continues to drop, doesn't provide water to the stream. It continues to drop because it's a groundwater pond, and it will drop in response to lowering of the water table. So that stream doesn't flow, not because of the irrigation event. It doesn't flow because the water table drops seasonally, and this stream dries seasonally. So I hope you understand all of that. I believe I've met the test that DEP was looking for in their determination, and if I could answer any questions.
Okay, we'll start with Scott.
I know you're not a cranberry guy, but in your understanding, since the pond is a mirror, as you say, of the water table, are the bogs also a mirror of the water table?
The bogs are at a higher elevation than the pond, so the bogs are not intercepting the seasonal water table.
So, well, the reason I'm asking is because, and I don't know what the evaporation rate would be per acre on a cranberry bog on an average summer day in southeastern Massachusetts, but maybe 0.1 to 0.2 inches per acre, something like that. And I'm wondering if the evaporation rate or transpiration rate, if you would, from the plants is enough to alter that the water table in that area. I'm wondering about the linkage.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're getting 0.2 per acre and it's a 6-acre cranberry bog, that could be 1.2, maybe up to 1.5, depending on how hot and
Mm-hmm.
dry the summer day is, and whether that would be a significant drawdown. It would be by agricultural purposes, but not by irrigation per se.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to affect the local water table enough to have an impact. We did studies years ago doing some environmental notification forms for some large cranberry bog projects. We actually got into comparing evapotranspiration rates for cranberry bogs and forested land actually has a higher evapotranspiration rate than cranberry bogs.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. The surface area, we don't need to get into plant surface areas so much, relative surface areas, but, yeah, I just don't know. And I know some cranberry bogs are also constructed with a layer of clay below the sand to help control the water movement and so on. And I don't have enough knowledge here to see, to say whether that evapotranspiration rate would be affected those pond levels or not. I mean, 6 acres of transpiration, evaporation, it could be significant.
I don't believe it's significant enough for the localized water table, because you've got acres and acres of land up gradient coming in that direction. And again, forested land would use more or have a higher evapotranspiration rate. So the forest up gradient might be taking more water than the cranberry bogs, but we really can't account for that.
Right, in either case, we're speculating, though.
Right, but I don't know where evapotranspiration rates come into DEP's 31010. It talks about significant drawdown.
Yeah, I don't know
Municipal
either, I'm
water
asking the
supply
question.
wells.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that it?
that's all.
Paula Jean?
Well, having deja vu. I'm just picturing like this bottle of water, and if we had a dry sponge area, and finally we've capped the water artificially so that it can't run, because there is a gate above and the man-made structure keeping the stream from running up at the top across the street by Pope's Pond, that if you open this and let it run, but everything has been very dry for some time, then maybe it would only get wet the equivalent of the 30 feet you mentioned. You mentioned when the water got into the stream, it was only 30 feet and then it ran out. It would take a while because it's going to be absorbed into the sponge and everything around the sponge, which would be the sides of the stream. And it would take a while for the water to run, for it to restore itself to its natural state where it would be a perennial stream. I don't know if I explained that well. You follow what I'm saying?
Not really,
Not
no.
really? Okay. Well, the 2 points are that there's a man-made structure affecting the stream. So I feel for us to judge it, that it's changed from its long-standing perennial stream to a intermittent stream. That might be rash. We've been in drought conditions part of the summer, every summer for a couple of years now, quite a few years, to my knowledge. And if the water does start to run there, it's going to take a while before it is absorbed into the banks and the ground and the stream before it's running and looking like a stream again. So that's why I am skeptical about the whole project.
I'm still not sure I follow your question. These bogs have been there 70 years.
Right,
They
okay.
predate the Wetlands Protection Act, so we take that as the starting point. There was no manipulation after the Wetlands Protection Act went into effect, so that's our starting
Okay.
point. The cranberry bogs are at a higher elevation than the pond.
Right.
The cranberry bogs do not intercept the water table.
Well, if the spigot is shut off at a higher elevation, we're not going to see the water down here in the stream when we walk there to see
The
it.
bogs do not intercept the water table, so there's no
Gates do.
spigot.
The gates seem to, aren't they? They function
The
like a dam?
gates are there to
They're a
hold.
dam.
The gate's there to hold when they artificially put water on the cranberry bogs. Those gates are
Right.
there to hold the water.
But in between times, are the gates wide open?
Yes. So if that bog intercepted the water table, and then you put a gate up, now you're impacting the flow of the water table to the pond, to the stream. Those bogs do not intercept the water table, so that flume is there to hold back the artificial precipitation, irrigation that's applied to the cranberry bogs.
So let me ask you, when do they close the gate, the artificial dam? When do they close it? Shortly before they're going to use the water, or is it closed for stays?
It remains open during the irrigation event. That flume was at its lowest point during all my observations. None of the planks had been added. It was at its lowest point. So they'll put the flumes in there to hold floodwaters, to hold floodwater back or harvest water. So that's what, again, we're not intercepting the water table on the bog, so those planks and that flume doesn't impact any water getting to Pope's Pond other than surface water, going back to when I talked about precipitation.
All right.
So rain will fall onto the bogs and be slowly released, probably more quickly than if it infiltrated into the ground, or maybe even if it landed on a forested piece of land. It's kind of released more quickly, which would get water more quickly to the stream. But again, those bogs do not intercept the water table, so that dam you're speaking about doesn't hold back the water table or preclude it from getting to Pope's Pond or
Well,
to the stream.
It certainly, most certainly when it's closed, prevents the water from flowing into the stream. Bottom line.
The artificial water that we
The
apply,
dam.
right. But it was at its lowest level during the 2 months I made these observations. These observations were made during a non-drought period.
Well, it wasn't officially a drought, but as an avid gardener, I sure gets pretty dry when I'm trying to grow
All we
those
can do is go
vegetables.
by
Yeah.
the drought maps
Statistic.
published by the state.
Right. Then one other small question, Brian. I notice in your statement here, I hereby attest to the authenticity and veracity of the statements. We trust you anyway, but that you have that. But the person who took the photos or the measurements of the stake in the water, did they sign anything? Or is that sworn testimony as well, or is that
He signed an
actually hearsay?
affidavit.
He did? It's
No,
not
it's in your
hearsay?
package. He signed,
I didn't get a chance to look at in detail because you just gave it to us, so I just wondered.
yeah, he signed the statement. It says that I provided GAF, photographs and
Okay, I didn't see
information.
that page. I just wondered if
Yeah, it's right after this figure.
okay,
It's,
thank you.
He signed an affidavit.
Good.
Because I'm not there 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 in the evening, so
Right.
he
Oh,
was
yeah.
nice enough to do it.
Of course. I'm just saying, as submitting that as testimony, it should be verified.
Mhm.
So, thank you very much.
Michael, questions?
Yeah, Paula Jean was kind of going down the same road I was about to go to, but I'm still gonna try to ask my best anyway. Excuse me for a second. Excuse me, that's just my allergies there.
Want a cough drop?
You look at the drought conditions for this region, and I know it's kind of difficult because you look at the Cape Cod region, and they've been between, May and at least probably August, even though you don't have the August ones on here, or September, that's fine, you don't go that far. They've been battling, level 2, at least level 2, if not more, drought conditions, one town over in Bourne. And I'll recognize on here that the map on here, because we're in the southeast region, that we're in level 0, considered normal. And again, that's fine, because that's what the map here says. But that's not like we're 40 miles up the road here. That's just, the difference between level 0 and Wareham and Bourne is like, 2 miles here. So do you think that the drought conditions in this immediate region here had anything to do with this here, by a chance?
No, not at all. This is my second time observing this stream
All right,
over a period of months during both times, last year and this time.
okay.
And I'm 200% certain this is an intermittent stream from my observations from last year and from this year. The difference with the Cape is, I'll say the Cape Cod Canal. And soil conditions are different on the Cape. Route 6, south of Route 6, you have outwash. North of Route 6, there's more till soils. So that that affects the groundwater monitoring wells that are used to make these determinations. But all I can do is work with the published maps. That's all I'm left with,
And that's fine. Like I was saying, I was just going by saying one town over. I was just saying like Wareham's 40 miles up the road in Plymouth County.
Yeah.
I was just going by one town over, that's all. So I just didn't want to say, hey, we're in normal conditions. Well, yeah,
Well, we did have,
under this we are, but.
we're in our second drought, I think, in 2025, so we had a very wet spring. Then we went into a drought, we came out of the drought, now we're back in the drought. So I took my observations over that 2-month period that we were not in a drought as per the published maps. And again, I'm very confident that this is an intermittent stream, given my 2 years of observations at this site.
Okay, thank you.
Kwame, questions?
Thank you for the information. This is a lot of work that you did. So if this stream had a name to it, we wouldn't be here talking about it, right? So it's unnamed stream, right? That's the whole thing. But just refresh me real quick. Like, this is for maybe some type of altered area in the future if this project gets approved, right? Is this what it's all about?
Yeah,
That's bottom line.
there'll be a project, but we need to make this determination because it's still protectable. It's still an intermittent stream. It has a buffer zone, but it just won't be a river. So it's still a protectable area.
And if I think it was like sometime last year when we had this conversation about this project, there's some residents that were really concerned if there was any altered land around this that might bring in more water into the area. So this being said, if this does get altered, are you guaranteeing that there won't be any impacts to the neighbors or any area?
Yeah, any project will have to be designed with appropriate stormwater measures, whatever's necessary, depending on what the project is, but we don't know what the project is until we try and confirm the resource areas.
Yes, understood. And if we had any like substantial, like 5-foot snowstorms coming up in the near future, this stream will be probably named. That was a joke.
Well, it does flow, I think, I forget whose comment was during the first go-around. When you look at the stream, it has a very sandy bottom, indicating velocity. I don't know, was that your comment?
Guilty.
But what happens here is, if you've been to the site, there are 2 catch basins, one on either side of the road. Those catch basins are right over the pipe. So they cracked the top of the pipe. They put the catch basin right over the top of the pipe. So I have observed water coming off Great Neck Road, going into the catch basin, let's say the north side catch basin, goes into the catch basin, flows backwards into Pope's Pond.
Okay.
The catch basin on the south side, all that water goes in, right into the pipe, right out into the stream 3 feet away. And after that heavy July rain, it was flowing in that stream a good 6 to 8 inches deep. A day later, it wasn't flowing. It disappeared. So it's all due to precipitation. That velocity and that scouring that you see is because the direct runoff from the road.
Understood. Thank you. That was just information, that's all. Appreciate it.
Faith, any questions?
Yes, I appreciate your time taking me out there to take a look. And I did look at the drought maps, but I also went back through the state of Massachusetts to the drought map before in May, and then the drought map in April and March, and it showed that our area was a mild drought before June and July, and now in August, it's showing a pretty significant drought in this area. So my question is, with a prolonged drought, can this affect the flow of a stream? That's one concern. And also, when I looked off the road to the right, there appeared to be some cedar in that area, which cedar is really an important tree and habitat along streams that indicates that it could be a perennial stream too. I was looking through some of the USGS, which may be part of why they were looking at it too as a perennial stream, was because of the cedar down there in that area. So those are my two questions. Is there, because I didn't get to walk the stream any further, was there cedar up further up that stream?
I believe there's cedar interspersed. There's not an awful lot of it. We had a professional wetland scientist go out there a year ago and delineate any bordering vegetated wetlands in this area, right from Great Neck Road until you get close to the old abandoned bog, that circle you'll see on the larger plan there. There's no fringe wetland. So that was one of my points a year ago, is you don't often see a stream without a fringe wetland associated with it, because wetlands imply groundwater, and that's why you have streams. No fringe wetland goes back to my point. This is probably a losing stream at certain times of the year, the summer. So your other point, yes, we were in a drought. We came out of a drought. We went back into a drought. All I can do is go by the maps published by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which indicate we were not in a drought period during my observations. That's what the regulations require. That's what I'm working with.
Thank you. Christine, your comments, please.
I've been out to that site pretty frequently now. So there are a lot of wetlands around the area, particularly over in parcel of 48. And it does appear that one of the streams mapped on here does run through a couple of the different wetlands that are out there. Since this is the third time that this has been in front of the commission, I think it would probably be good to have another set of eyes on it, especially if there's anything, because I think what Paula Jean might have been getting at earlier was essentially that there are some sort of man-made structures that could be impeding the flow of the stream rather than just letting it naturally flow. And that could be a factor. But that's not something that I would particularly feel comfortable with deciding. So,
Is there anybody online or in the audience who would like to speak to this project? Please come forward and identify yourself.
Good evening. I'm Scott Parr. I'm the trustee of the 39 Great Neck Road Realty Trust, which is in a butter.
Scott, please have a seat and talk into the mic.
Shall I repeat, Madam Chairperson?
Yes, so that the person doing the minutes can hear you.
My name is Scott Parr. I am the trustee of the 39 Great Neck Road Realty Trust, which is the abutter to the requested determinations property.
Your comments, please.
Well, first of all, Madam Chairperson, members of the commission, staff, thank you for the opportunity here. I'd like to circulate a couple of graphics, if I may.
Okay.
May I?
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
As Christine noted, this is really our third opportunity to address this issue, as the applicant seeks to reduce the scope of supervision that this commission will have over future projects. The project relates to a stream as defined by the United States Coast and Geodetic Service, which makes it a stream unless someone carries a heavy burden of proof to establish it is otherwise. The two-pronged test that Mr. Grady has described is, in fact, a part of the process of reclassifying a perennial stream to be defined as an intermittent stream. The first prong of his test is, I think, fully accurate, to suggest that there needs to be at least 4 observations over a 12-month period, and that needs to take place in a period of no drought. Now, as you've all observed, the fact that it has been pretty dry does not constitute a drought for the purposes of that prong, and of course the applicant benefits from that particular specificity of what is or is not a drought. The second prong proposed by applicant is, however, insufficient. The second prong that they've discussed is that there needs to be evidence that there has been no drawdown. In this case, related to irrigation of cranberry bogs, which are upgradient of Pope's Pond. And I would suggest, in looking at the regulation, that the second prong of that test must in fact encompass more than the question of a drawdown for irrigation purposes. And in particular, it relates to the evidence that there is no impoundment of water, upgradient of the stream, that would affect the flow through the stream. And here I believe applicant has failed because there is, of course, an impoundment upgradient and upstream. If you'll look at the materials, and the first of these are from applicant's submission, we're in an area where the water is essentially flowing in a generally southeasterly direction from the highlands near the hill, through the cranberry bogs, through a gate into Pope's Pond, and thereby into the stream. So we have a water flow that begins outside of the bogs, outside of Pope's Ponds, and ultimately reaches the bogs and the ponds to the south and to the east of this site. If you'll go to the second page, you'll note, and probably could have done some better labeling here, but forgive me. The white area, of course, is the cranberry bogs, the 6 acres or so of cranberry bogs that Mr. Grady has described. The blue area is Pope's Pond. The blue is the stream as defined as such by USCG. There is a flow gate that absolutely regulates the flow of water from north and west of Pope's Pond into Pope's Pond. And it is our view, and in fact, in the words of the applicant, it is their view as well. If I may quote from applicant's submission, it was observed that water continued to leave the cranberry bogs through the flume and enter the pond. At first, the water was several inches over the flume board. As the days progressed, the volume of water exiting the bogs decreased. This occurred through July 15th until there was no longer any observable water exiting the flume. This would indicate that the bogs are functioning as a reservoir, retaining the precipitation and slowly releasing it over time, acting as a reservoir. In today's testimony, there was a very similar description of the function of the bogs, which are upgradient and upstream of both the pond and the stream in question. Within the meaning
of the applicable regulation, 310 CMR 1058-2A1, D. This is an impoundment. The bogs are bermed, they're diked, they have flumes and control boards, and they impound the precipitation and the irrigation water, storing it for later release into Pope's Pond. These structures hold back, regulate, and meter the timing and volume of water flow, and as such, they serve as a classical impoundment, and given the existence of this impoundment, up gradient of the stream in question, we don't have the ability to reclassify this as intermittent. We've not passed the test that the state has imposed, which is broader than the two-prong, I would say than the second prong, that the applicant has suggested, and therefore, any measurements that are taken at the level of Pope's Pond or the stream itself are essentially irrelevant. The key is that the water is impounded to the northwest of Pope's Pond, that the release of that water is regulated. We have a description of how that water is impeded and released into the pond in applicant's own materials. And I would suggest that that is sufficient to deny the applicant's petition at this time. So we have three essential presentations to this committee. The first was to measure or observe the stream absent any contemplation of what was happening up gradient. And I think Mr. Grady's acknowledged that that was insufficient, and the commission was correct in its decision not to accept that. That didn't come for a vote because there was a second submission which suggested that the pond and the stream were in fact man-made, didn't exist at a relevant time, and therefore weren't subject to any of this, and that this commission saw fit to reject as a premise. Now we're here for a third time at the plate, and notwithstanding the elaborate and expensive and professional efforts to determine the relationship between changes in the depth of Pope's Pond and flow in the stream in question, we have fallen short of establishing that there are no impoundments upstream, and I would submit to you that's a requirement for applicant's petition to be approved.
Question for you. The quote you made, where is that from?
That is, the submission that we received wasn't paged, but you may.
Was it this one we just received?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I do have copies of those comments if you'd like those.
We've got them in your document you gave us in
I
here?
don't know.
Yeah, what he quoted from
Yes, it
comes
came
from this.
this,
No,
okay.
Yes.
But I do have. Really determined to fall over that chair.
Yes, it's done on purpose.
Humbles us.
Is there any other comments on this project? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, any response?
Yeah, well, I guess what it comes down to is Mr. Parr's interpretation of this as being an impoundment, and I couldn't more strongly disagree. He quoted my words from the report of water leaving those bogs, going over the flume and into the pond. It was leaving the bogs. It wasn't being impounded.
How much of a board is in that?
It's at the bottom. The flume
So
during
we're
all of
talking
the
maybe 2-3 inches?
the water's free to flow. During all of these observations, the water was free to flow. There was no obstruction in that flume. So the bottom ditch of the cranberry bog is right at that flume structure, and it leaves the site. There were no planks impounding the water during any of these observations. Impoundment means holding back.
If I take a look at the picture that was provided, it looks like there is a plank going down a rail that seems to be above the water line. Are you saying that plank does not hold any water back before it enters?
Yes,
Pope
this picture, there's a plank in there.
Yes.
During the observations, when I were making them, there was no plank. That water was free to flow. There was nothing holding it back.
Mr. Parry, any idea when this picture was taken?
That was taken last year at the time of the initial hearing.
Okay.
But may I note, Mr. Grady's been talking about the water going over the plank in his description of the events currently. I'll come back to the actual text.
Does this plank rest on the ground?
Yes. It did at that
So
time.
there's only way the water can go, can leave the bogs into Pope's Pond is to rise above this plank. It can't go underneath it.
That's correct. And if I may go back to the quote from the applicant's submission, at first the water was several inches over the flume board.
Mhm.
So there was a board in place.
Yes, there's a board there. If you know, so if you go to that picture, you have this half barrel, that's the flume structure. And then you'll see these slots on the side that you slide the boards in. So again, the bog is at a higher elevation than the pond. So what you have to, how do you get from a higher elevation to a lower elevation when you're in this tiny little barrel? So what happens is those slots, boards, planks are put in those slots, and they hold back soil on the bog side. On the downgradient side, it's exposed board. So those boards are there to hold the higher elevation of the cranberry bogs back. So yes, my observations, water was flowing over a plank board, but that plank board was at the same elevation of the cranberry bogs. So you have the cranberry bog here, and then you have boards holding back all this soil, so the water goes over the board, falls, and then goes out to the pond. So during all my observations, that plank was at the bottom elevation of the bog ditches. It wasn't being impounded. So this is the bog elevation, the bottom of the ditch. When the grower, cranberry bog operator, wants to hold back water, he will start adding planks up above that elevation to hold back water. And even with the planks, those planks are leaky. It's not a pool wall. They leak water continuously. So yes, there's a board there, but it's at the bottom elevation of the ditch. It's not impounding anything. That water is free to flow. As I mentioned, it flowed for 3 inches, 2 inches, 1 inch until it stopped flowing a matter of 3 days later. I think, so I don't think it meets the definition of impoundment. Impoundment to me would imply more of a dam structure. There's no water being held back. The cranberry bogs do not intercept the water table, number one, so we're not impeding or holding back any groundwater. And any precipitation that landed on the cranberry bogs was free to flow out into Pope's Pond, and that's exactly what I observed.
Okay. And one of your comments was that there is a stormwater structure on the south side of Great Neck, right?
Catch basins, is that what?
Yes, and that overflows during a rainstorm, catching the water off the road. And that water goes where?
Well, the catch basin on the north side, on the Pope's Pond side,
I'm talking the one on the south side.
well,
which
it
is-
comes down into the catch basin. The catch basin's right over the pipe, right into the catch basin, into the pipe, and then it will go into the stream.
which means any water we might have seen in that stream would have come from a rain event flowing off of Great Neck?
It flows in response to precipitation events.
Okay, so the heavier the rainstorm, the more water that would go into the stream.
Right, which was
Or-
my
or
point.
into this piece of land.
Which was my point about the scouring. That's why you see the clean sand bottom and the scouring. The more rain, the more water, the heavier the scouring is going to be. It's not flowing during the summer months in response to groundwater. It only flows in response to a precipitation event.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I do, and I don't know if this is a fine point of the law, which would be lost on me in most cases, but I'm wondering if any impoundment at any time, rather than impoundment at the time of a sampling or of an observation, is enough, it would be enough. So as soon as the cranberry grower puts a plank on above the ground level of the bog, does that count as impoundment that would satisfy the definition of impoundment according to this piece of law? That's my question. Or does it have to be an impoundment at a certain time, or an impoundment during drought, or impoundment at the time of an observation or measurement? That's a question. I think that it's clear that there are certainly impoundments at certain times. Brian, you've talked about that. When they want to have more water, they put another plank in, and that holds the water back. That's an impoundment.
But there was no planks installed holding back any water during these observations.
Well, that's my question. So does it have to be during an observation, or can it be any time?
Well, 2 points. Number one, we're not going to make a decision tonight. So if I, just, obviously I need to provide you additional information, and I will do that. If there's an impoundment there, which I don't believe it is, but if there is, it has to be determined that that impoundment precludes the stream from flowing. So you can have an impoundment there. You can have a withdrawal there, which we have a withdrawal, which was the whole purpose of this exercise tonight, to try to provide you demonstration that the withdrawal is not significant and is not the reason that the stream doesn't flow. Same thing, you can have an impoundment, but it has to be determined that the impoundment is the reason that that stream is not flowing.
Well, that would be the basis of my question. Can it be any impoundment at any time, or does it have to be some further criterion for that?
Well, yeah, the impoundment has to be the cause for that stream to not flow.
And then the last thing is, I'm just looking at the USDA soil survey for that, for those acres that are surrounding the pond and the cranberry bogs and the stream. And they're all sandy loams or sandy soils, extremely highly drained soils. This is getting to Paula Jean's question about how long it would take for the land to recover from a dry period before a stream would start to flow, even if there's precipitation and so on. I was just curious about what the soil conditions are like there. I don't know if anyone's done any perk tests. We probably don't need to. But
I imagine the good outwash sands. Your point earlier about cranberry bogs, sometimes, excuse me, sometimes having an impermeable layer.
Yeah,
These bogs were constructed well before that.
okay. But I'm just looking at the downstream soils, and they're all really, really well-drained soils, so.
Okay, anything else? Paula Jean?
Yeah, aren't the cranberry bogs in and of themselves an impoundment? They're man-made, they're a structure, it's not part of the natural environment, it absorbs the water. It doesn't have to be dammed up on all four sides, but it's still taking the water that otherwise would be flowing in the stream.
No, it's not taking the water.
Using the water, it's using it, no?
Well, that's what I hope I've demonstrated, that withdrawal, the irrigation event, is that the cars, that withdrawal, which your determination the first time, DEP's superseding determination was they did not have dated events, the dry stream in relation to the withdrawal event. So I think I've demonstrated that here, that withdrawal event is not causal for the stream not flowing. And again, the cranberry bogs are above the water table. They're not intercepting and impounding the water table. Pope's Pond is a groundwater pond. So the cranberry bogs are not intercepting, impounding that water table. Pope's Pond is a mirror to the water table. It's getting all the water it can from the water table. We're not holding back any of that. Precipitation, as I observed and state in there, precipitation lands on the bogs and it's slowly released. It's not being impounded. It finds its way to Pope's Pond. It's not being impounded. If this were a forested 6 acres instead of the bog, it would probably take longer, maybe a little bit longer, for that precipitation to fall down. What didn't get used by a 100-foot tree would find its way to the groundwater and then eventually to Pope's Pond. So we're not impounding the groundwater. Any precipitation that lands on the bogs during these observations was free to flow into Pope's Pond. It wasn't being impounded in any way.
Anything else?
No, thank you very much.
Michael?
Nothing.
Kwame?
Not at this time, ma'am, thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
You indicate that you're going to respond to something, a question at another meeting?
I'll see what additional information I can provide to respond to Mr. Parra's, query about it. This is an impoundment. I'll see what additional information I can provide there.
Right. Christine, anything?
I have no other comments.
So I'm hearing that we're going to do a continuance until 10:15? Mr. Parr, did you have anything else to say?
I think that the record as it's been presented pretty clearly describes the upstream as a reservoir that's dammed and that regulates the flow into Pope's Pond. I'm not a hydrologist. I can't speak to water table issues, but it seems to me implausible that with the amount of rainfall and the contributing impact that has, for that all to be intercepted and then dribbled out is clearly contributing to the water level both of Pope's Pond and of the subsequent stream.
Thank you. All right,
Move to continue until
10:15?
10:15.
Second.
I have a motion, I heard a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica, you can come back. And
This is
7:33.
the rule about
Jessica, when did you leave? 6:33? 7:33?
I think so.
Wow.
Madam Chair?
So, wait a minute.
submission.
Yes, next one,
last time
please.
around.
All right. On the request for notice of intent for James Kane, let's see, I think I got this one right. Hold on, maybe I'm the right one here.
We're
Yeah,
0
I'm
Rosebrook.
sorry, I got it right, yeah. A request for notice of intent for James Kane, 158 Theanet Road, Wareham, Mass. The project proposes the construction of 2 apartment buildings with a total of 180 units. The proposed work under the jurisdiction of 310 CMR 10 includes surface parking, underground infiltration systems, grading, stormwater discharges, site lighting, and landscaping on map 109, lot 2, 0 Rosebrook Way, Wareham, Mass. And notice to open hearing.
Have that motion?
Second.
I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the hearing is open, and who's here representing this project?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commission members. Paul Matos with Allen and Major Associates. We're here to represent the project.
Paul, can you spell your last name for me? You went fast.
Matos, Matos.
Okay, you're up.
Have the green card for the 4 abutters.
You can give it to Christine over there, please.
As you mentioned, we're here for a notice of intent for some work that's associated with work in the buffer zone. The proposed project is on 5.27 acres, outlined in red here. It's our property. And then we're proposing to have 2 apartment buildings on here with 180 units. Building 1 is kind of a U shape with 103 units. Building 2 is a little bit of an L shape with 77 units, and it's a 4-story building complex. And then we have parking that goes around the perimeter to provide parking for all the residents there. We have a total of 272 parking spaces. We do have underground utilities proposed, stormwater management, and then surface site lighting that's installed around the perimeter. And then we have some courtyards in between the buildings for the residents to use. As you can see on this plan here, we have the 100-foot buffer zone outlined in red here, and that's basically a 100-foot buffer zone to the edge of the cranberry bogs on the adjacent property. There is no wetlands on our property. All the wetlands are located off-site. We had LEC consultant, our environmental consultant, have the wetland lines determined, and then in December of 2004, we did file an RDA with the Conservation Commission, and the Conservation Commission agreed with the wetland lines shown on the approved plan.
Where's the 50-foot? Where's the 50-foot?
The 50-foot is non-applicable here because the project was a 40B, and under the 40B, we requested waivers through the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Zoning Board of Appeals granted that. We were not filing under the local bylaw. We're only filing under the state regulations 310 CMR. And that decision from the Zoning Board of Appeals was in August of 2025.
So what you're talking, within the 100-foot, you're really just talking parking area?
Correct. We got parking and grading, and then we have some subsurface drainage systems here that are designed to meet stormwater standards in accordance with the town regulations and Mass DEP Stormwater
So
Handbook.
Our discussion or preview over this is within the 100-foot.
Right. Work within the buffer
I'm
zone.
just putting the ground that, yeah. All right, so, all right, I'm going to questions. Jessica?
I'd like to come back to me.
Scott?
Hi, I'm not prepared at this time to ask reasonable questions. I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Paula Jean?
Same thing, if you could come back to me, see where this goes.
Michael?
Thank you very much.
I was down there earlier today, and it seems like an extremely small strip of land behind the medical building down by Rosebrook.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, if you could flip it around, that'd be great.
South Coast Medical Buildings here.
Right there, and it looks like there's assisted living building to your right over there.
Correct.
And I mean extremely small strip of land, wasn't even marked, there was no purple or pink ribbons or anything. So I couldn't find out where anything was supposed to be. Now, isn't there, as I guess Sandy was kind of hinting to, isn't there cranberry bogs right behind?
Yeah, cranberry bogs are right here.
So
And
that doesn't apply to this, even though we're building close to that?
It does. That's
We're
that's
showing
what-
the 100-foot buffer zone. Again, the 100-foot buffer zone is shown in red on this plan. And we're showing the work within the 100-foot buffer zone, which is parking lot, grading, and site utilities.
Okay, but
Sandy's question was about the 50-foot local bylaw, no activity zone. And I said that's not applicable because, again, we filed the 40B through the Zoning Board of Appeals, and we're able to get waivers from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And one of the waivers was to not use the local bylaw and only follow the state standards.
Can the CBA do that? Can they waive our
Yes.
bylaw?
Yep.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Sorry, 40B gets a lot of, yes, please,
So I would
Josh.
say 99% of the time, the zoning board has no jurisdiction over the Conservation Commission. A lot of the zoning board's power is really attributed to Chapter 40A, except for in the stance of comprehensive permits under 40B. They are allowed to waive the local bylaws of a Conservation Commission, but you still do have jurisdiction over the project under the Wetlands Protection Act, which the project is attributed to buffer zone of the Cranberry Bogs.
Michael, does that answer your question?
I suppose it's very difficult to try to tell where this whole project is. So obviously, it's in that very small strip of wooded area.
Yeah,
And we're talking extremely small strip of wooded area.
Well, 5 acres.
if you would have gone out there, and I don't know if you walked the site, because we share the common driveway with the All-American Living, which is here.
Yeah,
And then
because-
we also share the parking lot here with South Coast Medical Building.
Yeah,
So
and
we're
it-
redoing that. There's a,
And there's like one like small like little path you could
Yeah,
walk in
right
between the
through here.
middle.
yeah, right there.
But again, it was like not even staked or anything, so I couldn't figure out what was going where or anything, but that was just, so I was just trying to figure out, get my bearings. Is this here, is this there, or whatever, so that was just, it was just trying to, a little difficult for me to figure out. And I was like, wait a minute, there's a cranberry bog there, so that's all, so, anyway, that's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Kwame?
I guess this is more of a question for zoning, or maybe Massachusetts, but is there, I mean, it is a tight little space. Far as, getting massive trucks in there, like maybe, for like fire code, I don't know. I have no idea, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there's only one point of entrance in there, right?
No,
That's
there's
Rosebrook.
multiple entrances is here. So we got entrance off of Rosebrook here. They could come this way easterly and then come around the site. And there's also another exit here that they come in, and they can also go through the South Coast Medical Building where we have access through here.
Oh, I'm sorry, correction. There's only one entrance place, and that's Rosebrook Road.
Correct.
Yeah, and I thought maybe there would have to be like 2 points of entry, Rosebrook and somewhere else.
No, Rosebrook is wide enough, it's sufficient, and the fire department has reviewed this. In your package, we do have a whole complete set of site plans that show the swept path analysis for the fire truck, and the fire department has signed off on the plan.
And
Yeah,
by
this
the way,
is-
there is Mosquito Dam.
Yeah,
that
good
goes
luck.
the dirt road into the cemetery, so that goes out to, that's another entrance in and out.
Very
which
true,
I
very
use
true.
all the time not to avoid
Yeah,
that.
I'm sorry, that was
Yep.
over, this is not in our jurisdiction, so I was
No,
just asking a question.
It was a question.
Yeah, no
It's all
problem.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Faith?
Yes, I looked at the area, and I was having a hard time telling where it was, too, because it wasn't staked out, but I did have some questions about, it mentions in your plans that you're going to put in vegetation, what type of vegetation you're planning on putting in, and how many trees you're planning to remove, because, that may affect the wetland area too, and it's just a question.
But it will be clear cut.
It will be clear cut, yes. We do show the proposed tree line here, which, hold on one second. Yeah, I guess the only proposed tree line is on the easterly side down here. The rest of it would be clear cut, tying into the existing slope associated with the bog activities that have happened there, that they've cleared the trees there too and stuff like that, so.
Yes, because I walked the area, and there's a real beautiful trail that goes through the cranberry bog.
Yeah.
And it mentions that there's different wildlife that use the trail, like coyotes and some other animals. And I'm wondering if this is like a wildlife corridor as well, if it's been determined to be a corridor for animal activity. No?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
All right, I'm going back. Jessica?
I'm not as familiar as I am with our local bylaws. So what is our jurisdiction under the state rule when it comes to 40B? So you're saying that, are we totally waived by the ZBA? Okay, so it is within our jurisdiction to comment or condition?
Yep, so remember that your local bylaw is more strict than the Wetlands Protection Act. Believe it or not, the Wetlands Protection Act still gives you the ability to condition this project in any manner that you see fit to protect the resource area that's identified.
Within the 100-foot,
Right, the buffer zone, right.
yes.
Like, for example, just looking at the site plan now, it looks like there's pretty steep contours on the backside of the parking lot. It would be totally within your purview to require extended or maybe enhanced erosion control measures during construction. So you still do have a lot of leeway under the Wetlands Protection Act. You're just being restricted on some of the local stuff, like your no activity zone, There was isolated land subject to flooding to,
Isolated vegetated wetland.
sorry,
It's an isolated vegetated wetland
Right.
off-site.
Right.
It's non-jurisdictional.
no, I was getting to that, thank you, yeah. Because we cover that under our bylaw, it's not actually a resource area under the Wetlands Protection Act. So where it is off-site, it's actually, if you're looking at the southern building on that plan, thank you, Paul, it's actually almost in line with the existing building to the south. Yeah, right where you're pointing. So if you had jurisdiction under your bylaw, you could probably condition that in some type of way. But where the ZBA has waived your local restriction, you have no jurisdiction on that southwest corner, no, sorry, northwest corner. Yeah.
Jessica, anything else?
I'm just thinking about it.
I would say that you guys rarely condition projects above and beyond to the stance of your bylaw. One of the big restrictions or conditions that you guys have would be your no activity zone, but I would say a lot of the standard conditions that you guys normally apply to projects are still appropriate for this project.
Scott?
And that would be over the full 100-foot buffer zone allowed under the Massachusetts law.
That's correct.
And if I just may add, again, we provided a complete set of plans. There's a whole detailed erosion control plan here. We do have straw, hay bales and wattles along the perimeter of the grading limits. And the grading is all at 3-to-1. It's nothing really steep. It's standard practice, 3-to-1 slopes. So,
Well, we would also be concerned about runoff from the parking lot down into the wetlands, that kind of thing. And then you've got a stormwater
got a
retention
stormwater
plan.
management system. It's designed for the 100-year storm. The 2 outfalls that we're providing here, which, I'll go back to this plan. So we have an outfall here, and we have an outfall here. Those only designed as emergency overflows. The system itself is designed to retain and infiltrate the 100-year storm event.
So there's a lot of places to hold the water underneath the parking lot.
Correct. We have a bunch
Simply
of systems. We have one system here, then we have another one here, and then 2 more right there. So we do have a total of 5 systems. And just to add more information to you, during the ZBA process, the project was peer reviewed by an outside consultant, Green Seal, and they provided their seal of approval on our set of plans and drainage calculations. That it met the standards of the local bylaw for the town of Wareham and also for stormwater handbook, Mass DEP regulations.
Anything else, Scott?
No, thank you.
Paula Jean?
So I drove there, but I just drove around the medical building and the assisted living, and I hadn't seen any stakes, so it is not staked, is that correct?
It wouldn't be, because it's outside of our project.
Okay, all right, that's why, because it was hard to see what was specific there. So can I ask Faith a question about the coyote path? Was there a sign there, signage about coyotes?
Yes.
Did it say who placed the sign? I mean, who?
I couldn't remember exactly. I took a picture of it, but there
'Cause
was
if
a
it's the
sign
same-
on the trailhead there.
Folks that are doing this, and, wildlife habitat is most certainly one of the things we take into consideration. So I'm interested in exploring that more.
I have seen a sign done by Makepeace to let
correct.
people know who are walking the area that there have been sightings.
Correct. There's walking trails along the bogs that people have access to use it. So our property will have access to those cranberry bogs to walk the trails. The people that are adjacent to, the Saga Fusion Restaurant and next to the hotel, that residential complex also has rights to go walk through those trails back
Those
there.
trails
so-
will continue to exist.
Correct. We're also providing a connectivity right through here for our residents to get to the bog trails, and then they can
Okay.
walk around the bog trails. So those signs were probably in place by the owner of the property, just identifying that there may be coyotes there to use caution and stuff.
Caution, okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Anything else?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
In the parking lot, is there going to be any like EV charging stations, anything like that matter? Like the
Yes.
charging
Yep.
stations?
Yeah, we have 20% of the parking spaces will be designated as electrical vehicle charging stations. We're only required to install conduits and provide a certain percentage at time of occupancy. But at the time, if we do need to have more, the infrastructure will be in place to run the conduits and install the
Okay.
chargers as needed.
Kwame, I've
Yes.
circled 2 areas along the parking places which he's identified as.
Oh, I couldn't see that. I couldn't see that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're on the plan as EVC. So they're
Oh,
they're spread
okay,
out throughout the
40%, So
development.
there's like maybe about 8 or 9, 10 spaces maybe?
More than that, it's
I'm
probably
thinking
close to,
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12,
Oh, really?
14,
Yeah, so we
16,
have
18,
a
20.
block here. We got another block here of EV charging stations, another block there, and then another block right here. So there's at least probably 50 charging stations. Again, it's
Okay.
20% of the required parking.
Anybody else? Christine, your comments.
So I was just looking at the edge of where the parking lot ends. Is there anything, you have the erosion control plan for when you're doing the construction, but do you have any measures in place for after the construction is done and there are actual vehicles parking there? Since there is that resource area that's downgrade of that, I was just wondering if there was anything that was essentially going to mitigate any sort of runoff from cars, if there's any oil or if
There
there's-
will be no water from the parking lot will go over the edge because we got a hard curb edge along the perimeter, so all that water is contained within the parking lot. It's directed to the catch basins, and the catch basins, it goes to manholes and through water quality structures, then into the subsurface infiltration system, which also has an isolated road to provide more treatment. So we're achieving more than 80%, which is the requirement. We're at close to 91%, I think it is, TSS removal. So we are doing more than what's required by regulations.
The slope from the parking lot down to the cranberry bogs is pretty steep. Will there be anything done to prevent activity going up and down that bank? Like a fence or something to say,
We're not proposing any.
okay.
So it's, again, it's 3-to-1 slope, but
Okay. So they can, and you've got a very good site preparation and erosion control plan where it shows you got a lot of, you're gonna use wattles.
yeah.
Now, when we first did Rosebrook quite a few years ago, the back parking lot on the north side was put in impervious pavement.
Correct.
Impervious?
Impervious,
Or
yeah.
pervious?
Pervious
Pervious,
pavement, yes.
That one little section in the far
Yep.
back. And I know that it's a pain to do that because you have to vacuum it after every winter so that the sand is gone and it keeps its job. Have any consideration done for putting in pervious pavements?
No, we have not done that here. We have adequate room to do our subsurface infiltration and get all the water into the system, into the ground to infiltrate, so that we didn't need that. I
Okay.
believe when they did the
Just
South
asking.
Coast Medical Building, I wasn't involved with that project, but the reason they did that was an additional stormwater management component to the project.
Yeah, because we broke that parking lot
Yep.
in half. The
Yep.
back corner was to be, okay.
So,
Any other questions? Anybody in the audience or online questioning this project? Christine, you're set?
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions on the board? Jessica, you look like you want to say something.
I do. I'm interested in exploring the feasibility of putting something like a post and rail fence along behind the parking, something that we could put our little sign on that just says, past this point is, a resource area, protected, something like that.
it's not a resource area, just buffer zone.
Well, the bog beyond the parking area?
That's just buffer zone, it's not a resource. The resource is the cranberry bog.
That's what I'm saying.
So you want a fence along the cranberry bog with signs to say resource area there?
Perhaps, or perhaps on the other end of something to enclose the parking. I mean, it is within our 100 feet, it is part of our jurisdiction. It is something that we would normally protect.
Jessica, can you swing your mic?
Sure.
Is there a sufficient enough space for someone to take a sled and go sliding down that banking? Just I didn't walk the back side of the property.
Well, anybody could take a sled and go sledding at any point. It is,
I know, but it doesn't look like it's very long. I mean, never mind, that's not.
no, it's
Forget I
probably,
asked the question, anything else regarding the project? Okay. Are you comfortable in closing the hearing?
Move to close the hearing.
I have a motion to
Second.
close the hearing, I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I opposed, abstain. Christine, your recommendation?
Standard order of conditions. I feel like it would be not a bad idea to have some sort of delineation just in that area that shows that there is a resource area close by. Because, I mean, I know sledding is something that is not really common nowadays without the snow. But still, you don't know if anybody's gonna jump over from that parking lot, or if they're gonna go down, or if something's gonna happen.
So we could condition that there be several posts placed with our sign on it?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't see what the purpose of that's gonna do, because again, this is an active cranberry bog that's being operated, and they're doing work out there and stuff, so they may come back to the slope and do something there, because under agricultural rights, they have the right to manipulate the land, put in some sand piles there or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that sign's gonna do, because they're gonna be doing probably more work than what
It
we'll
was just,
see on our side.
just the point of saying to the people there, okay, but that's the end of the property line, right? Is that where the property line ends?
Property line ends on the other side of the parking lot, correct.
Okay, so that's, okay.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would too.
What we're looking for is a couple 4x4 post, or 4x4 post with our wetland conservation sign on it.
Which even, they're small enough to not impede any agricultural.
And
like-
it would be put at the top of the banking, but the end of the parking lot, you just hope the people don't back into them.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
How many? 4?
How big, it's a pretty big area, right? Half dozen?
6, so I would say 6 4x4 posts with the signs indicating conservation land. Even though, yes, it is agricultural land.
The signs are free.
Okay, if that's what you want.
So 6 posts along that north, south, east parking area. That is the east side, isn't it?
That's the east side, yeah.
Signs aren't free, but you can waive the fee. They're $5
So-
a piece.
Or they,
There, standard order conditions with 6 posts with sign placed along the east side of that parking area. That's what I'm hearing for an order of conditions. Someone wants to make a motion?
So moved?
second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed, abstain. 600.
Thank you.
We're done. Thank you.
This link goes to the wrong thing. How do I get to this one?
What's that for the next one?
Next one, please.
All right. On the request for a notice of intent for Bonnie Marianne Weeks in Kirkbridge, 20 Marianne Ave, West Wareham, Mass. Post facto permitting for deck expansions and greenhouse, map 53, lot C1, 3 McKinney Street, Wareham, Mass. Notice to open the hearing, please.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. And who's here representing this project? All right, Sam, talk to us, since the work has already been done.
Sure. So the subject property here is 3 McKinley Street. And as mentioned, this application is for an after-the-fact filing for several small accessory structures that were constructed on the site. So an order of conditions was issued for the septic system, which was installed back in 2002. Later, that system was abandoned in 2007 when town sewer became available. So it was recently we went to close out that order of conditions for the septic work, and it was noticed that there were several site changes. So in our discussion with the agent, she had recommended we file a notice of intent for these unpermitted activities and then proceed to close out both order conditions. So in our application, the several activities we addressed would be expansions of the deck on either side of the existing dwelling, a ground level deck platform, if you will, situated behind the existing garage, and a small greenhouse that was placed on top of an existing concrete pad. These activities and the property are located within flood zone VE elevation 18, lies within the riverfront area, the 100 to 200 associated with the Weewantic River, and a portion of the property also falls within the 100-foot buffer zone of a salt marsh.
Okay, so you said the ground level deck, and you expanded 2 decks
Yes, on either
and
side.
stairs.
There were stairs existing on the right-hand side. Those, I guess, were sort of cut off. That lower section of deck was built, and the stairs kind of kicked back towards the driveway.
So the deck stairs hit the ground okay.
Yep.
Questions? We'll start with Jessica.
Can you come back to me, please?
Scott,
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean.
I just had a question about the concrete pad that's under the greenhouse. If somehow the greenhouse could be, it's a portable, basically portable greenhouse,
Right.
moved off, and the concrete could be removed. And then, the greenhouse, obviously.
When was the
we could keep
concrete
it.
put there?
To my knowledge, according to the applicants, it was before they purchased the property in 2002, and the
Right.
greenhouse was placed on that. It certainly looks to be that old, looking at it.
So it wasn't something the applicant did?
Correct.
Okay, sorry.
Right. it
Paula
was-
Jean asked.
Right, I figured
Continue.
it was done by the prior owner, but as we're looking at what's there, that was the one thought I had. Thank you.
Michael,
No questions, thank you.
Kwame,
No questions at this time, thank you.
Faith.
I talked to the property owner, and he did indicate that he bought the property, and all of this was done previous to his purchase. And I noticed the concrete pad did look very old. The greenhouse did look like it was portable, but it was, I tried to look on Google Maps to see where the deck was before and after the work, and I couldn't tell. So I have no questions except, where was the deck before they did the work, and I couldn't tell really.
Christine, comments?
I have no comments.
Anybody in the audience or online like to comment on this project? So what I'm seeing is at least 3 violations?
Yeah.
The 2 decks with stairs and the ground deck. Anybody else? Nothing online or in the audience? Not at this time. Okay,
Move to close the
I
hearing.
have a motion to close the hearing. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Christine, your recommendation.
A standard order of conditions with fine for the unpermitted activities per violation, as Scott has indicated.
And I would expect that these projects would have been permitted,
Yes, so it would have been a $200 fine
so,
for the decks, both of them, and for the greenhouse.
not the
the greenhouse,
greenhouse,
sorry.
but the ground platform. So
ground
we have
platform.
3 violations at $200 apiece,
Yes.
so the fines are $600,
Yes.
3 at 200. So that,
I was just going to move that. Are you ready to move?
yes,
So moved.
Second.
I have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. That's it.
Excellent, thank you.
So you can get close to getting your certification of compliance, now that this has been, section has been done. Thank
Right.
you. Next, please. We're all missing a baseball game here. I'm sorry, it is 3 in the 7th, but that's, sorry.
It's okay, I missed it last night. Anyway, on the request for, what do you think?
Working?
You got it.
Okay.
Anyway, on the request for notice of intent for Hamilton Beach Association Incorporated, W. Worrell Avenue, Wareham, Mass. Remove brick on resource area, map 50F, lot 1049, 1 Worrell Avenue, Wareham, Massachusetts, and notice to open the hearing.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose- And who's here representing this project? Nobody?
Anybody online?
Anybody online? Not even Carrie?
No one has raised their hand at this time.
Okay,
So
I'll take a motion.
for this one, anyway, we are waiting for a DEP file number and a letter from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife.
Move to continue to 10:15.
I have that motion.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, we're continuing till 10:15. All right. What are we going to do about, okay, 23A Barnes Street, O'Neill. Nothing?
I have one online. They kept raising their hand while we're ringing, so it's hard to get them.
Okay, find out who that is.
Eric Coughlin,
And what project?
I assume the one you just talked about, he just raised his hand.
Okay, so bring them in.
They're in.
Okay, please identify yourself.
Eric Conklin.
And you're here for what project?
The project at 23A Barnes Street
Okay.
in Wareham.
Talk to us about the project, please.
Yeah, so this project is just a rebuild of an old dilapidated deck that was out back. We're gonna keep the same footings, the same measurements of it. We have to adjust some of the footings because this client is wheelchair bound, and that is going to be used as her main entrance to get into this house. We are going to add a much larger door out back. The driveway entrance is very small. So we're going to be doing an ADA ramp for it. It's going to be a 9-foot ramp to a 3-foot platform to a 9-foot ramp again.
Now, the project was never staked, but it looks like it's the position, it's in that area which is all dirt.
Yes, correct. Yeah, there was a structure there, but there's a tree above it, and trees have branches that fell through and everything else, and it was bad. So we ended up just removing that. It was never actually secured to the ground anyways. The structure that was there was just basically like a standing platform at that time.
Okay. Questions? Jessica?
No questions.
Scott?
The plot plan, I don't see where the stairs would come down,
You mean the ramp?
the ramp would come down?
The plot plan didn't show it, but I did have the drawings were put into the permit. The drawings show the ramp. So what it's going to be is from the driveway going down the property line is going to be 9 feet of ramp, and then you'll hit a 3-foot platform, and then you'll take a hard right at a 45 to come back up to the back side of that deck. And then the back side's directly in line with the back door that we're putting in there.
Anything else?
No, thanks.
Paula Jean?
No, thank you.
Michael?
No questions, thank you.
Kwame?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Okay, Faith?
The only question I had was the tree that you were talking to, I couldn't tell because it wasn't staked. Is the tree going to be removed?
The tree at this time is not going to be removed. We have enough room to make it right before that tree. So instead of messing with anything farther than that, we're just going to clean up anything that was left on that tree that we deemed was going to be any type of issues, which honestly, the past couple storms have taken care of most of it anyway. So But the
Okay,
tree's healthy enough that it should stay.
okay, thank you.
Christine, any comments?
No, I believe this one had work started before getting the permit.
Because I've looked at the site and I don't know what work could have been done. It was a lot of debris there.
What-
Did I miss anything?
When I went there prior to the July submission, there was sawhorses and 2x4s, a construction outhouse was there, some plywood, bags of insulation. It looked like there was some activity going on
On the outside or inside?
outside,
Outside.
around the perimeter.
Eric, any comments on
So
that?
there was nothing done on the outside at this point besides the electricians who were permitted to move their things, the plumbers who were permitted to adjust their stuff. Everything that was staged outside was staged for inside work.
Anything else, Christine?
No.
Anything else from the board? Anybody online or, well, you already got Eric online, or there's no one in the audience, so. Chris,
Yeah, with chopped liver.
oh, they didn't seem to be interested. We have any comments on this project?
Of course not.
Okay,
Move to close the hearing.
I have a motion to close the hearing and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. The hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation.
-2, -6.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. We closed another one. Okay.
Thank you
now-
and have a good night.
Thank you, Eric. I have a good one. Now
Go
we're
Red
on
Sox.
to, Safe Harbor was continued until the 19th. The next one we have is 29 Camp Street. As understand they wanted to withdraw.
Yes.
Do you have
and
any paperwork on it yet?
I still have not gotten any
So we're
formal-
going to continue. I need a motion to continue until
So
10:15.
Could
I
we-
have that motion, and I heard a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. 7 Burgess Point Shore, one has been continued until 12:17. The next hearing is Town of Wareham, has been continued until 10:15. The next hearing is Virginia Green Turner, 8 Johnson Street.
So that one, we're still waiting for a DEP number and a letter from Division of Fisheries and Wildlife.
So move to continue NOI 141 to October 15th.
Second.
I have that motion. I heard a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstain. We're continued. The next one we have is River Hawk, 19 Bay Point Drive. Anybody here for that one? Any requests for continuing it?
No, I believe somebody's there online.
All right.
They're in, they just have to unmute.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
All right. And you're here for which project?
I'm here for the Bay Point Golf Course Project,
And,
19 Bay Point Drive.
all right. And you're here representing the project?
Yes, I'm here I'm the civil, my name is Bob Rigo. I'm a civil engineer with Riverhawk Environmental, and we are the engineers for the project.
All right. Talk to us about the project, please.
Okay, can I possibly share my screen or?
Yes, please.
Okay, I don't know, but I'm not sure I have the ability to yet, but I'll start talking anyways.
Wait a minute.
This
Wait a minute. John,
particular
what?
project, here we go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, can everybody see that?
There we can.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Light.
I kind of have a small version of it now, but
Thanks.
okay. Anyways, this project, the commission actually issued an enforcement order. There had been some work done on hole number 3 for the golf course. And there was some land that was left disturbed, and that without grass growing. They did attempt to grow grass several times, but there was some washout that occurred. Some of that sand that washed out from that construction activity flowed down to an adjacent off-site cranberry bog area, which is an abandoned cranberry bog, and resulted in some minor siltation of the ditch which surrounds the bog, and also some sand on top of the bog. That happened at 3 locations along the perimeter of the golf course and and impacted the bog area. I was able to meet Joshua out there, and we went over some of the potential ways to mitigate it. What we're proposing to do is improve. There was some stormwater controls to the southerly side of hole 3, which included a forebay and then an infiltration pond. Those were somewhat undersized and silted up and didn't have proper outlet controls. So I've designed just to kind of expand those basins, infiltration basin, to include, and I'm unsure, hopefully you're seeing this on the screen, but I'm unsure if you are or not. But we're proposing to basically enhance the forebay, vegetate a swale in between the forebay and enlarge the infiltration pond, and then give that a proper outlet control structure. So we're letting water out of the pond sooner, and try to eliminate in this, I'm sorry, this plan, you can see the area of sand that washed out and found its way into the bog over here, and also filled in this ditch. In addition to the improvements to the ponds, we're proposing to basically build a berm, which will cut the water off and send it, keep it on site and keep any. This will all be vegetated, but keep any of the water that does run off over on to the subject property, as opposed to flowing off-site to the abutters property. Sorry. And then finally, we are going to propose to remove this silt and clean out these the area of the trench that got filled in by the siltation. So proposing to just have a small machine go in there, like a bobcat, dig out those areas, or a small little mini excavator actually, dig out the trench and dig out the sand that found its way over there. And sorry for being jerky, but so in this area, and then there's another area up to where we do the remedial activities would be over in this area of the bogweed, this area of the course, excuse me. We're proposing to increase, to basically enhance an existing swale to catch some of the runoff which comes off from this portion of the site. And that's all.
Thank you. Jessica?
I'm not prepared yet.
Scott?
Would it be possible to arrange for a site visit with someone from Riverhawk to show us what would be proposed on the actual site?
Absolutely. Yep.
When I went out there, they gave me a golf cart and said it's over there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really
Okay.
helpful. I did find several
really?
golf
Okay.
balls, though.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, we certainly could do that. It is off-site, but the best way to get there is by golf cart. It's across one of the holes. And I did go out there with the agent and Joshua, and it was it's an area of bog where they're letting it return back to its natural state anyways. So I'm not even
it's unlikely to return to any kind of natural state. When cranberry bogs are left to go fallow, they don't go back to their original state. They become something else. And it's...
No, we're not looking them to return, they're not looking to be returned to cranberry bogs. They'd be looking to return back to, allowed to, I'm unsure what, it's an
No.
off-site, so
If a
I'm not
wetland
exactly
is-
sure. I know there is,
If a wetland is converted to cranberry bogs, when the cranberry bogs are left to go fallow, they don't revert to wetlands, they revert to
Forestry area.
pine forest. It's very expensive to reconvert to wetlands.
understood, yeah, understood, and that's not part of our project or what we're proposing, so yeah, I'm gonna leave that to them,
Yeah,
certainly.
it is discouraging, though. I've known that forested area over there since the early 1960s, and it was a beautiful area. And to see the wholesale destruction of it, it's very discouraging. And then just to let the siltation and the erosion and all that, it just, I mean, it would have been easy to see that that all was going to happen. It's just discouraging as a resident of Wareham to see that level of destruction allowed.
You mean of the golf course? Or-
Of the forest and then the golf course itself, yeah.
Well,
So
all
just
right.
the construction of the golf course is your issue, right?
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
so if you arrange something through Christine, she'll contact us and we'll find a meeting time that's amenable to everybody.
Sure.
right. Paula Jean?
No further questions. I would like to go on that visit.
Okay. Michael?
No questions, Madam Chair, thank you.
Kwame?
Not at this time, thank you.
Faith?
My only question was, I noticed there was a significant amount of erosion. I think I saw the right area. There was no one around, so I'd like to go on a tour too if possible. But I was wondering if it's going to be returned to the grade that you originally had to kind of mitigate some of that erosion by the bog. Because it looks like it washed out, you know, totally kind of washed out. And there were some trees down on the right too, if I did see the right spot.
Yeah, I'm unsure. Certainly, we can go over that during the site visit. Look at it all, but the intent is definitely to stop that erosion from occurring and to prevent it from going off-site and to do some better job at mitigating the stormwater on site now.
What's being proposed to be planted in the affected area? What's being proposed to be planted in the affected area?
I kind of had a hard time hearing you. Did you say
Can
what
you hear
did
me
we
now?
propose? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
What's being proposed to be planted in the affected area?
We were just proposing to allow it to revegetate. It's just a sandy substrate, which was a cranberry bog, and it's being allowed to, like I said, it's not being maintained as a cranberry bog anymore, so it is just revegetating naturally with a lot of scrub pine in the area, pitch pine, and we didn't have any proposed plantings because it is an agricultural, like a former cranberry bog, mono species of plant, I guess there.
Are you open to some purposeful native shrub planting, something that would actually create a root structure under the ground in order to be able to hold things together more?
Yeah, we can do that on our side of the property line, absolutely. Propose some of those things for sure. The property in the bog is not land that we own or, so the intent was just kind of to get it back to the condition that it's in now or prior to the siltation. But we could put plantings on our side of the property line, absolutely.
Well, I looked at the project from the bog side. Boy, did I get lost. There were roads and roads and roads, but I did find a section which had a whole lot of sand which shouldn't have been there. So I looked at it from a different side. But we're going to request work through Christine to get a site visit for those that want it. Christine, your comments?
There are quite a few areas that have been impacted by the siltation here, and it is starting to impact the flow to the water that's on the edge of the bogs. I would also like to know if it's going to get back to the grade that it was before, and I do like the idea of having some native shrubs planted over there, just because it would help it better in the long run, especially since it's already been impacted by that siltation. The plants that are there might have a more difficult time revegetating after it's been, excavated out.
All right. Paul, do you understand what she is asking for, what we've asked for? You had Jessica.
Me, Bob? Yes, I do. I believe I do. I mean, like I said, we control on this side of the property line. We'd be happy to plan if we can get agreement from the abutter, plantings inside of that bog area, or look at some alternatives. I don't know if restoration of a bog that they don't want to use as a bog anymore is the best.
No, I would be comfortable if you just removed all the sand that was piled there and into the ditches and on the ground.
That's-
To me,
that's
that
what we
would
were
take
getting-
care of the land you don't own, is just removing the sand. But I like the idea of putting in some plantings in the areas that have been eroded. Anybody here or on any more? Try again. Anybody commenting on this project? If not, we will look for a continuance.
I'd be happy with a continuance, please.
Okay.
I do want to make one more comment. Even though the bog isn't being used as an active bog, oh my gosh. Even though it's not being used as an active bog, it still has a lot of importance as a quote-unquote retired bog. So having some sort of restoration effort put into it is a good idea for the interests that are associated with it, since it's still considered a bordering vegetated wetland, whether it's active or not.
So that would be dealing with the owner of the property.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? If not,
Madam Chair, may I?
yes.
For a previous project that was seen in front of the commission, we had drafted an order of conditions. I had shared it with the commission prior to you guys making a decision, and we actually shared it with the applicant to make sure, they were on board and it made sense. Maybe it'd be appropriate to do that for this project as well. We can, Christine and I can draft up conditions that seem appropriate.
Since
It will-
we've done it once, we'll do it again.
Yeah, I think that was a exercise worth doing, and I think it really helped the project.
Okay, so
So-
we will get,
Yeah, so why don't Christine and I work on drafting up a set of conditions. We can share it with Mr. Rigo, and we can probably have that ready before your next hearing, after everyone has a chance to go on a site visit.
Great.
okay. I still need a motion.
Motion to continue till
Is it 10:15?
10:15.
I have a motion
Second?
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're continued until 10:15. Next, please, is...
Thank
Thank you. 49 Edgewater Way. Anybody here for that? Oh. Please identify yourself for the record.
Brian Grady, GAF Engineering.
Did we get a DEP for this?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, so you have revised plans which were discussed at the last meeting. These plans reflect what was discussed there, and we do have the file number. So I don't know if there are any additional questions or comments.
And I believe we had a lot of violations and fees and fines coming. Is there any more questions on this property? Jessica?
No.
Scott?
No, thank you.
Paula Jean?
No questions, thank you.
Michael?
No questions, thank you.
Kwame?
Not at this time, thank you.
Faith, I know it's new to you, but
No, I did meet the homeowner. He was very nice and showed me what they're working on. No questions.
Christine?
No comments.
Anybody online on this project? Anybody in the audience want to speak to this project? Folks,
Make a motion to close the
I
hearing.
have a
please.
motion to close the hearing. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. The hearing is closed. Christine, your recommendation.
So standard order of conditions with a fine for, a $300 fine for the fire pit, a $300 fine for the wood rail fence, a $300 fine for the wall, and a $300 fine for the sand pit, I believe is
No,
what was.
boat
Boat launch.
launch.
Okay. And compliance with the provisions that are outlined in the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife letter that's dated August 28th of 2025.
8/28/25 letter.
So moved?
I have that motion.
Second, yeah.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Done.
Thank you.
Finally. Thank you for hanging in there. 8:30.
Overtime.
Is the game over yet?
Not yet.
No. We're top of the eighth. Sorry. I'm sorry. I did,
Well, you didn't give it away, though.
no, I didn't. It's top of the eighth. I can't ask Alan. He's in Temple. Next one we have is 0 Shady Lane.
They'd requested a continuance.
Oh,
to the
that's right.
15th.
They're continued in 10:15. I see that on my note. We have a conserve group. They're continued in 10:15, so we have that's continued. We have that continued. And we have continued enforcements of 1 Reynolds Ave and 16 Widows Cove. There's more enforcements coming, because I know
There
Josh
are.
had one for 15 Oak, and I have one for 14 Widows.
Yes, there's also one coming for, oh gosh, what was it? I can't remember the name of it right now. There are at least 2 more that will be coming as well. As for Reynolds Ave, the house has been sold, and the new owner is apparently supposed to take care of it. So I'll have to go out and meet him and talk with him about the violation and explain everything that's going on.
Okay?
And for 16 Widows Cove, the last I had heard anything from him, he was drafting up a plan for it and should be getting to me soon with it.
And 14 Widows Cove would be the vegetation they cleared,
Yes, and
plus
that,
the fire pit.
yes, the fire pit.
And Oak Street, what was the violation at Oak Street?
Fire pit and the beach.
Oh, I guess I should walk the beach more often. And the other 2 will be coming?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have reported the conservation agent.
There's nothing really new to report. I do have to reach out to municipal maintenance about potentially drafting a plan for the bamboo on East Boulevard.
Did you get my note on goats?
Yeah, I did. I don't think they would eat the bamboo,
Aw,
but
they eat everything.
They eat a
Let's
lot.
find out.
Pandas eat bamboo.
Huh?
Pandas eat bamboo.
Oh, let's get the,
That's a different type of
Goats
bamboo.
eat bamboo.
right, there we
Eat
go.
everything.
So, I mean, I would seriously consider penning a dozen or so goats on that banking and let them go for it. And then when they're done, we can hand apply the herbicide.
plenty of farms around. It could get a shepherd to come out with them.
Then we might seriously consider a goat on the banking, taking care of the invasives on onset. Oh, I'm sorry.
Why not?
All right.
But I do need to speak with them about that. though.
Bamboo issue.
Yeah.
I like the goat idea.
Okay, I have a feeling Josh is here for a reason.
You got it. I'd like to present to you something under your 48-hour business. This week, we were provided, and I'll share my screen, we were provided the actual documentation of a conservation restriction that you, the Conservation Commission, have agreed to in partnership with the Wareham Land Trust. The parcel that you have agreed to hold in a CR is off of Red Book Road. It is this parcel here. It is, oh, sorry, hold on.
Is this the one we said we'd agree to sign?
Yes.
Yep, so this is 10 acres. It is bordered by property owned by the Reservation of the Trustees. Wareham Land Trust owns a couple parcels out here now, and the Wareham Water District owns a couple of parcels out here now.
And we've seen the CR, and we have approved the CR.
You've approved, and
No, we just have to sign.
you have to sign under the supervision of a notary. Luckily for you, I am a notary, so if we could get that done tonight, that would be excellent.
We should sign it the first thing so you can go home.
Could we see some form of identification, please?
I do have a little plaque on my desk that says my name and then Notary Public underneath it, if you need it. Actually, I was going to ask you for forms of identification, so we could trade.
Okay. Is this
But-
the one where we said no horses? Is this that the CR, or that was a different one?
That's a different one, I think.
That was a larger one.
This,
Would want to take a horse for
I don't
2
think there was
acres.
anything special about this particular landlocked piece of land in the CR. I know we talked about no motorized bicycles. I think we added that to the CR restriction.
I can provide you all a copy of the CR
Again.
after it's signed.
After we sign it?
Or if you want it before. You've already looked at it, actually. But yeah.
Is there anything else? I mean, there's no reason, under 48 hours is just to sign it, so we're not having to vote on it, since
Yeah,
we've
you-
already voted on it. It's just,
Yep, you're not taking any action. It just felt appropriate to get you while you're all in one place.
all right.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else on this agenda, Christine, that you want to talk about?
No.
No? Does somebody have an idea what I'm going next?
Oh, you're talking about the fines?
We're at 8, after 8:30 at night, I think we can handle that on another meeting, because right now I'm not ready to listen to fines. Anybody else?
Move to
Motion
adjourn.
to
I have a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn at
8:37.
8:37.
Second.
I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I oppose, abstain. Thank you very much. It was a late evening. I appreciate your time and diligence on our hearing, and please, John, turn us off.